and this is my big sister Stacy.
And this is Sister Social Call. Well, hey, sissy.
Hello, sister.
Good to see you back in your podcast recording studio.
Yeah, in my grow up, like junk room, books, library, office. Yeah, I'm back here.
Yeah, right back in my podcast studio.
Right back in my podcast studio. Yep.
Yeah.
Made her back from Thailand.
Yes, and that is what we are going to talk about today. Krissy's going to share her travel stories. Here's just a quick summary of the highlights, and then we'll get right into it real fast. So Krissy started and ended her journey in the electric city of Bangkok. Taking tuk-tuks and motorcycles, she wandered temples, markets, got a tattoo, and even attended a Muay Thai fight. After a couple days, she went north of Chiang Mai and spent time in an elephant sanctuary where she learned about conservation, and she got up close and personal with these incredible animals and met some awesome travel buddies from Tennessee. The next part of her vacation, she headed to the beach to relax in Krabi. Imagine turquoise waters, limestone cliffs, and slowing all the way down. Today, Krissy is going to share these highlights and surprises and the moments that made this a life-changing trip. So, sis, why don't we start off right at the beginning in Bangkok when you arrived?
There's just so much to share about this trip, so I'm not sure we're going to get it all in the episode, but I'll do my best to just keep it to the really memorable moments. But I landed in Bangkok, and this is the first trip that I've ever taken by myself in my life. I've traveled, yes, I've gone to places, but by myself, no. Like, there's nothing that scares me. I can get nervous about things, but I never get afraid of anything. What's the worst thing that could happen? It's like dying, and I always think to myself, if this is how I was supposed to go, well, whatever. So I don't ever fear that either. Like, anyway, so I got to Bangkok, and I knew I wanted to take their transit, like their train or their LRT. And so I got on the train, and super easy to use, just like you would use anywhere that has like a big train system. And then, yeah, once I got close enough to my hotel, I got a tuk-tuk there, and then they just took me to my hotel, which was great. And so, yeah, my first couple of days in Bangkok were just like a bit, I had jet lag really bad, actually. I kept waking up at 3 a.m, and like wide awake. In my head, I'm like, holy shit, I'm in Bangkok by myself. What do I do now? Like, that's kind of what I was like, oh my God, this is like a bit overwhelming, you know? You're just like, oh my God, I actually am here. So then I was like, okay, I know I told myself I wanted to go get this scalp massage, like head spa thing. Like, they advertise them all over the place. I'm like, just go find somewhere to get that done. And while you're there, you can regroup and figure out your like next, like what's next, you know, because I didn't plan a lot for my trip. There was only a couple things that I planned. Anyway, and so that afternoon, I just went on a little stroll because I got in at like 6 a.m. I was there so early. So I got my head spa done, and then I went on tour, and I found the flower market. It was awesome. I got, I think I mentioned this in the pre-trip where I got the Ola Fly eSIM. So you can roll with your Google Maps on all the time, which this is an amazing thing when you're traveling. So I just like put in my destination on my Google Maps, and then it took me on this route. Well, when I was walking there, it's like you stumble into all these cool things because Bangkok is, I think you said electric.
Yep.
Electric is a great way to put it. Think of, I can't remember how many millions of people live in there. I think 11 million people, I think, is the population. Something insane. So, and I'm a small town girl, but to me, I was just like, everything. There's flowers everywhere. There's food everywhere. It was just so amazing. There was just stuff everywhere. It's like people were like, oh my gosh, were you overstimulated? I was not. This is what I went to Bangkok for. This is exactly what I wanted to experience. I wanted to experience the like busy, chaotic hubbub, the colors, the smells, the sounds, the people. I wanted to see it all. And so walking around Old Town Bangkok was full of all of that culture and just everything. I was taking pictures every which way I turned because I was just like, this is amazing. Like, so good. So yeah, the 24-hour flower market, which is definitely a highlight of my trip. Flowers are coming and going all hours of the day. The significance of this is that people are extremely religious in Bangkok. And as I said before, Buddhism is their primary religion. And so people at any given time of the day, they're taking flowers to the monks, offerings to the temples, leaving flowers at the temples. They're all over the place where you can leave offerings. And I'm telling you, people are doing this all the time. It's just incredible. So flowers come and go through this flower market all the time because they are going to the flower shops. People can come in and buy them. And then not only that, in the flower market, there's also food vendors, and then there's also produce vendors in there. So you can't, like, you can buy flowers, you can buy produce. It's just this whole vibe in there. And there's people coming and going. There's baskets that are like massive, and they're hauling like plant leaves that are just like bigger than you could even imagine. It was just like, oh my God, it was unreal. I don't think like everybody would love it because, of course, not everybody's a flower freak like me, but I was just in my freaking heavens in there. And then the next day was the day I was going to get my tattoo. So I knew I wanted to go to this area called Songwat, which is like a cool, trendy, like lots of artists have shops down there, and there's art shows, and there's live music and this whole kind of hip young area, but lots of art. So I knew I wanted to go there. So I was like, well, I'm going to walk there, put it into my Google Maps. Well, Google Maps took me down the street. I saw it and I was like, wow, that's taking me down this. I ended up in the wholesale market in Chinatown, Bangkok. This was like one of the craziest things I've ever seen. It was just like, like TMU or the dollar store on like steroids for I don't even know how many blocks. I walked in one direction for 45 minutes and I was still in the frickin' wholesale market. And then streets went perpendicular and intersected with the one street that I was on. And they're narrow streets. I can't even begin to describe it. Like Google it or look on YouTube or something. I'm sure some video will come up, but it was insane. There was just stuff everywhere. There's fabric suppliers. There's people with like gold jewelry. Imitation Croc shoes, like just everything everywhere for blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks. It was wild. And so that was pretty cool. And then I went and toured Songwat and didn't really buy anything, but there was like pottery, there was a local art show, and then there was a guy kind of hosting the art show. His art show was going to be the next one, so he was there. There was cool little cafes that you could sit and have coffee at. Coffee in Thailand is great. They don't have a lot of decaf, so I was derailed a little bit on that. Anyway, so that was pretty much and then the tattoo shop, they got a hold of me and they were like, hey, if you want to come in earlier, we can get you in earlier. So I grabbed a Grab taxi car, which is like our Uber here, which you have to take when you're in Thailand. And then I went off and I got my traditional hand-poked sacred yantra tattoo, which we already did a whole entire episode on that. So I don't need to redo that. But after that, this was a pivotal moment in my Thailand trip. So the guy that was helping me was like, okay, do you want to get it? Or I was like, I'm going to get a Grab to go back down to where my hotel is. And he's like, oh, you should take a motorcycle Grab. And I was like, oh, really? You think I should? Because the motorcycles weave in and out of the traffic there. It's crazy. But it is the fastest way to get anywhere in Bangkok. And if you aren't taking a motorcycle Grab, like you're taking forever to get somewhere. It's cheap, but it takes forever. So I was looking at probably like an hour and a half taxi cab car ride back to where my hotel was. And I was like, I don't want to sit in a taxi for that long in traffic. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to order a Grab motorcycle. He's like, do it. Do it. I just knew everything was going to be okay. I just had this like spiritual experience getting the tattoo. And after all that, I just knew that everything on this trip was going to be fine. So I'm like, I'm going to order this motorcycle. So it comes. And he has a helmet. In Bangkok, they have helmets for their passengers. Thank goodness for that, because that would have been really sketchy. And anyways, and so then we took off on this grab. But so like I was telling you guys on this trip, it's like this, I just want to like go on this trip and like regain trust in myself, and just whatever. This is a big part of this trip. So I'm on the back of this grab, and I'm telling you, if Stacy wouldn't do this, Stacy would not get on the back of this. She'd be like, "Nope, this is unsafe. I'm not doing it."
It's true.
It's true. I know 100% you wouldn't. But I'm on the back and we're cruising, and it's like traffic everywhere. My grabs, and the reason they're so fast is because the scooters and the motorcycles just weave between the traffic and go up to the front, and cars let them. It's just respected here. Anyways, while I'm on it, I had this feeling inside of me. My God, I like put all my trust in this guy to make sure I get to where I need to go, and in myself. And it was just this feeling that overtook me. And I just knew in that moment, I was like, this trip is going to be unreal. I just had this feeling that I haven't felt, and I don't even know how to describe it, but I've never experienced anything like this. I'm just trusting this freaking Grab driver, and it was like the best feeling that I ever had. It was amazing. So that was such a TSN turning point, because after I took that ride, it just changed the way the whole trip I went. Taking these Grab taxis was the best thing ever. It was so quick and efficient, and it was just so much fun. I wrote about it in my journal. I was like, the moment my life changed,
Oh,
I was like, this is so crazy. And I just knew it was that feeling, that whole feeling of trust. It was such a deep internal feeling. I know now the feeling that I like, if I don't feel that feeling in my life, say for instance, if I meet somebody else in my future, whatever, it's like, then I know what that feeling is now, which
mm.
you know what I'm saying? Which took me on a long mental journey, but it's like, that's a whole other time. I did leave Bangkok, but I did end up coming back to Bangkok for 2 more nights before I flew home. And then when I was coming back to Bangkok, when I came back to Bangkok, I had met a couple people from Tennessee in Chiang Mai at the elephant sanctuary, which we'll get to next, but I met up with them for our last 2 days. And in those 2 days, we went to a Muay Thai fight in the evening, which was really, really awesome. Such a big part of the Thai culture. There's Muay Thai gyms everywhere. They're all over the place. People do this all the time. But we went to that fight, which was really awesome. It was very interactive. It was lots of fun. It was loud. It was amazing. Definitely a highlight of my trip as well. And then the next day before I flew home from Bangkok, we went and checked out this place called the Green Lung, which I had never heard of. The people that I met, Andrew and Rebecca, they met somebody along their travels who lives in Bangkok and suggested doing the tour of the Green Lung. So you can rent bicycles. And then the Green Lung is essentially in Old Town, Bangkok. It's an area where it's all green. There's no cars in the area. The only way you can travel is on these concrete kind of walkways or pedway. I don't know what you would call them, but we rode bikes on them and you can ride them all through. I don't even know how big it is. We were out there for a couple hours for sure and still hadn't even adventured to like one other side. So that was very, very cool, very unexpected. It was also a highlight of my trip. I wish that I had more time to cruise through more of it, but we stopped there and had lunch and got an iced coffee, and it was just, Bangkok is such a cool city. There's so much to do. There's something for everybody. There is no shortage of like delicious food. It's vibrant with life and culture, and the Thai people are so wonderful. I have nothing but amazing things to say. And coming from a girl who's small town living and loves that, to I fell totally in love with Bangkok. It's so crazy, but no bad things to say. Really loved it.
Well, after a couple of days in Bangkok, after arriving, you headed north of Chiang Mai to an ethical elephant sanctuary. Give us a brief overview of your time there, but then tell us like your highest highlight, because I can imagine it was all a highlight, but like, you have to tell us your number one.
Yeah, so I went up to Chiang Mai. I flew there. So takes hardly any time and it's about the same price as taking a train. So I flew up north to Chiang Mai, spent a couple days just touring about Chiang Mai and checking out local life there. And then yes, I got picked up and I booked a night stay. It's 2 days and a night stay at the Elephant Nature Park. And that was recommended to me from my friend Kelsey. She had been there years ago and she said, if you go, you definitely should check this out. So I let that be the universe tell me to go up there. So I did. And honestly, it was amazing. It all started off, they picked me up and that's right in the vehicle is when I was the second last person to get picked up. So my friends from Tennessee, Rebecca and Andrew, they were already there in the vehicle. So I was sitting beside them. There's also a gal from France, a gal from the UK, and then we picked up another gal from China. And so we had this awesome group of people for one. So we all go to the elephant sanctuary. I don't think any of us really knew what we were getting into, but yeah, it was like a whole 2 entire days of kind of planned touring around the elephant sanctuary, acres and acres of land to meet the elephants and hear all their stories and how they came to be there and how old they are and how things go out there. It's an ethical elephant sanctuary. So they're trying to get the elephants to be elephants again, to remember what it is to be an elephant. So they're not training these elephants to be around people anymore. The elephants are allowed to be elephants. So we weren't able to touch them. We weren't able to feed them. We weren't able to bathe them. Nothing like that. They do that on their own. They want them to be elephants. And so that is a huge thing in Thailand. There's a lot of places that will advertise their place as an ethical elephant sanctuary, but truly it's not necessarily because for elephants to be able to be handled by people, they have been trained to do that. And that's not necessarily what is considered ethical. So anyways, the whole idea is that they are just allowed to kind of have the rest of their life there being elephants. And so they pick their own herds. Every elephant has a handler. So there is one person to every elephant and the elephant picks that person, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that was a really interesting thing. I learned so much up there. And so the elephant, and honestly, the elephant, if they don't want that handler, they will like headbutt it with their nose. They won't eat, like they'll kind of revolt. So and the only reason that that person is there is essentially to feed it. So they eat like nutrient dense food. A lot of the elephants at this sanctuary that they rescue are the old ones because they lose their teeth and then they aren't cared for properly. And so, I mean, there's a whole story. I would say go look it up online if you guys want to know more about it because I won't do it justice in our little podcast here, but they call them the grandmas. Oh, amazing. And there's one out there that's like 94 years old. So
That's
they
in
live,
human years, sissy?
yeah, human years.
Wow.
Yeah, they live a long time, which I didn't know. And then we got all of our meals there and they did all vegan meals and they were unreal. The food was amazing. And then, yeah, spent the night. It's quiet time at 8 p.m. So there's no riffraff, nothing. We all had to be back in our rooms by that time, which was fine by me because I was tired. And, yeah, then the next day we were up for 7 a.m. So we could, I guess the one thing too is that the elephants do get taken to kind of a bedroom for the evening for their nighttime. And that's just so that they rest and also they don't get into trouble and don't cause havoc. So they do get taken into their little stalls. So in the morning we were up at 7 so we could watch them all come out in the morning. And it was like, they were so excited to see their buddies in the morning. They were all trumpeting and they were pumped and they were running and oh my gosh, it was amazing. And then, yeah, so that day we got some special treatment. I'm not really sure how this all happened, but we were able to go see the owner, Beck is her name, her husband, Eric. He took us over to this herd that apparently only VIP guests and like major sponsors to the elephant sanctuary get to go over to this area. I don't know. That's what our guide told us. So we got to go to this area and see this herd of 8 elephants, and they fed them corn right with us there. We got to sit there and, like, listen to them eat and just be right in it all.
Mm,
That was unreal. But you never felt unsafe. Like, they were very aware of your presence, and you didn't feel like they were gonna step on you or anything like that. You just kinda got to, like, live in that and experience, yeah, have that experience with them. They're just so huge, and you're not allowed to touch them, but the one, took its trunk and, like, kinda brushed it up against me, so I got to feel her. It felt like sandpaper, and in their trunks, they have 150,000 muscles. Isn't that wild? So
that is a
it wasn't, like, loose or anything, it felt, like, very strong.
hmm. Their trunk.
Yeah, it was really great.
I think I would have cried being around the elephants because I cry when I go to a zoo, pretty much. Like, especially when I get to be around the orangutans.
I think I just had tears in my eyes the whole entire time. Like I said to you, you had asked me while I was there if it was a spiritual experience or something like that. And that's the sheer thought of, holy shit, I did it. I'm here. This is something that I've always wanted to do. And I'm here. Like, I'm experiencing this, like, in real life. It made me reflect on where my life is at and how far I have come, and just this whole just all of it to me, it was, like, very overwhelming because I'm a very deep thinker, let me tell you guys. And, just in that moment, I just was so grateful for just everything. I am so freaking lucky to have this in my life and this experience, and to be here in Thailand, like a dream that I'd always wanted to go there and to actually get there. That was that moment for me at the elephant when we were sitting with them while they were eating.
Beautiful. I wanted to know what your highest highlight, but it sounds like probably just like that feeding experience, having the elephant even touch you.
Yeah, that whole entire herd experience was definitely one for the books. And then with just such a really great group of people, Derek, he just answered every question that we had. Yeah, and what we didn't feel rushed or anything. We could just sat there for like an hour or longer, just being amongst the elephants. And of course, it felt very homey to me because it was ranch like there because they also rescue cattle, cats,
Mm,
dogs. And so where this herd was, it was very ranch like, and it was just felt, yeah, it really felt peaceful and homey to me. So that was really cool.
mm.
Yeah, and then we went back to but like we were back in Chiang Mai by 5, and then I went out for dinner and with peeps from Tennessee, and we went to the Northgate Jazz Co-op, which is obviously a really cool place to get to because there was no room inside. We had to stand outside on the street with like 100 other people. The next day, I had to be at the airport super early in the mornings. Yeah, so I got up, flew to Krabi, and then took a taxi to Koh Lanta, which is the island that I stayed on. And then I was just like in full relax mode for a week, like 5 days, 5 nights. So just beach bumming. Honestly, I did a Thai cooking class. That was the goal for this journey of the trip. So I did an amazing Thai cooking class at Sukho Cooking School with Pa. She's unreal, super funny. If you're ever in Thailand and Koh Lanta, go visit her. It was so freaking hilarious, and the food was unreal. It was 5 hours long, and we cooked and ate, and it was just awesome. It was so, so fun.
Can't wait for you to make me Thai food when I come out this summer.
Yes, I'm going to. I'll make you the whole spread. It'll be great.
I can't wait.
And so, yeah, just in Koh Lanta again, I rented my own scooter. So this was again one of those things where I had to like talk to myself. This island is only 25 kilometers around. Like, if I could rent a scooter, I could go see everything. I was like nervous because they drive on the opposite side of the road than us. So I was just a little unsure about it. And then I just thought to myself, Krista, you have done so many harder things than this in your life. Like, what the hell is your problem? But it all just somehow, some way, when you're driving, it just, I don't know, it just all kind of clicks in. You don't really think too much about it. It might have been different if I was driving a car, but because I was just on this little rocket scooter thing, it wasn't so bad. And yeah, I literally spent time on the beach. I went to a national park. I went to the cooking class. I went to Old Town Lanta, which is a big time fishing village. Very, very cool. If I had more time, I probably would have gotten on a boat and did a little bit of a tour around the islands over there, but I didn't have that. I didn't really, wasn't planned. That was pretty much Thailand for me. I mean, if anybody wants to know more about Thailand, I would be more than happy to like have a conversation with you. It's just very hard to sum it all up in a quick little podcast. And really, like, a lot of it for me was experiencing the Thai culture and all the little moments that just organically happen when you're traveling. That is what's so rich to me when I go on any trip. So I think that was truly the best part of it. It was just kind of going without a super rigid schedule and just getting to enjoy kind of whatever came my way, and just that freedom of do what you feel in the moment. Thailand is great. I highly recommend people to go there.
We had a listener send in a question. So Steph, she's one of our regular listeners and commenters. So she sent us a question about your trip, Sissy. So I'm going to read it and then see what you have to say. I am super curious if Krista's packing for this trip well worked out. Too much stuff, question mark. Not enough stuff, question mark. Forgot anything? I'm just curious, but I'm sure she'll cover this topic. So, Sis, you want to talk a little bit about what you wore around when it was so stinking hot and how much you packed, what you did wear, what you didn't wear?
Yeah. So I think I put on our story that I was only taking a carry-on with me to Thailand for 2 weeks, and I was using packing cubes, which I've used in the past, because I typically only take a carry-on wherever I go because your luggage is surely to get lost. I had everything that I needed. I took one pair of yoga pants that I didn't ever wear, so that was a fail. Like, I didn't need those, but I thought I would maybe end up at a Pilates studio or yoga or whatever, and I thought maybe I would take them because all the places indoors do really crank the AC, but I didn't ever get to one of those classes. So that was one thing I didn't wear at all. But otherwise, I had packed enough of everything. On my second day there in Bangkok, when I was out on tour, I wore a pair of shorts and I walked 10K. And by the time I got back, I had such bad chafing going on, like in my thick thighs, that I had to quickly find some more flowy pants. So I did travel. I wore flowy pants when I went there on the plane, but I couldn't wear them every single, like when I needed a second pair. So I went and found these flowy pants, not your regular Thai elephant pants, but you can find these flowy pants everywhere, which they were only $5. So I should have bought a whole bunch of them, but I just couldn't fit them in my bag. So I went and found a pair of these pants, and so I had to add an extra pair of flowy pants for the chafing factor, because hot, sweaty upper thighs is a reality in Thailand. So, but otherwise, yes, everything else, I had enough stuff. And when I got to my place in Koh Lanta, they did laundry there. So I got everything washed for my second week. And so, yeah, I, I did have a moment. I'll tell this quick story. I did have to sacrifice a pair of my undies. So mom's friend goes to Thailand. She gets back about a week before I go. And mom's like, her friend says to make sure you take Kleenex or toilet paper because not everywhere has it. Good hot tip. Like, right on. Thanks for that tip. So I was so good about like making sure that places had toilet paper or that I had Kleenex. I was doing really good. But I emptied out my fanny pack and I cleaned it out, forgot to put my Kleenex back in my fanny pack. And so I went for a walk up to the art village in Chiang Mai. But the night before, I went to a market and eaten some greasy street food. So I'm walking to this market and it's hot and I'm like 20 minutes into an hour walk. And all of a sudden my stomach starts rumbling and I'm like, oh my God. Like, where the fuck am I going to find a toilet? Like, I'm in a residential neighborhood right now in Chiang Mai. And this is like there's no stores anywhere nearby. Like, what am I going to do? And so I'm starting to sweat and my stomach is like not good. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well. I see just out of the corner of my eye, like a sign that has smoothies on it. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get to this store. So I go there. It's not even open, but the babes are there mopping the floor. And I'm like probably sweating. I'm like, oh my God, do you have a bathroom? And they speak zero English because that's the type of area I'm in Chiang Mai. I'm like, toilet, bathroom, whatever. She's like, oh yeah, back. She points back there. I'm like, thank God. I don't even have time to like think. Is there Kleenex? Is there toilet paper? Anything? Because I am literally going to shit my pants. So I'm like, I get in there and I can hardly get my pants off fast enough or down fast enough. And yeah, just like, yeah, the rest is history. And I'm on the toilet and they have bidets everywhere. So you can spray your butt, no problem. But then you're like moist. And I'm looking around and just instant panic sets in. There's no frickin' toilet paper. Oh my God. And so, I just like, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have to sacrifice my underwear that I'm wearing. So, yep, that's what I had to do. I had to take off my pants and take off my undies and use my undies to make sure that I was dry because there was nothing. So I lost a pair of underwear in Chiang Mai because I forgot to put my Kleenex back in my fanny pack. So don't forget your Kleenex, you guys, because that's important. Yeah, so that was a whole thing. So yeah, I came back with one less thing of underwear, but luckily they had laundry in Lanta, so I got freshened up. I got some new undies.
Good. My goodness. Thank you so much, Sissy, for sharing your highest highlights and your
Yeah,
underwear
my
story,
pleasure.
because I wouldn't put that into a highlight, but thanks. That's a traveler story.
A travel story, yes, travel story. But we were talking about clothes. Well, I hope I answered Steph's questions. Then I
Yeah.
got on a tangent. But yes, I did have enough stuff. I just couldn't bring back any souvenirs. The only person that got a souvenir was Tex. He got a painting of a tuxedo cat.
Well, and Kelly also got some
Oh
things
yes,
from the
Kelly.
elephant sanctuary.
Yes, I did do that at the Elephant Sanctuary. I think I told you guys that Kelly gave me some money if there was something that I did that I thought would be life changing. So when I was at the Elephant Sanctuary, with the money she gave me, I sponsored an elephant, Raya, and then there was some stuff that came along with that. And then the remainder of the money, I used that to pay for my Muay Thai fight.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to our peaks, pits, and plans for the upcoming week and the past weeks. I'll go first. I really didn't have any pits. I was in Victoria for work, so I didn't really have any pits until yesterday when I was flying back and my flight was delayed several hours. So it just made for a very long travel day. I wasn't even out of the province and it took me 17 hours to get home. So,
That's
it's
crazy.
it's ridiculous. I left my hotel at like 6:15 in the morning and I didn't get home till 11 o'clock last night. So it was a really long day.
Icky.
But like a little bit of a pit from my travels yesterday, I was trying to find a quiet spot in the airport, which surprising YVR where I was really doesn't have any like quieter nooks around. And so there was just people everywhere. And I know yesterday was probably a little bit of a busier than normal travel day because in BC, the kiddos are starting their 2 weeks of spring break now. Like yesterday was their last day of school. So there was already a ton of families in the airport. So it might have been a little bit busier. Anyhow, so I was looking for a little cubby and I found some things that were pushed up against a wall. They're like these fabric little nooks. Some were single chairs and there was 2 that were double chairs. And so there was 4 in total. And I found a empty single chair, which was awesome, but it was like pushed against a wall. I don't even know. Like they look like they should be being taken off the floor. But anyways, I squeezed in between a 2-person one, which had a guy sleeping in it with including like he had an eye mask on. And I scooched into the one right beside it, a single, and I just was in there quietly working away. And yes, it was a work day for me. And I do consider travel work, but I was bored out of my mind for sitting for hours in the airport. So I took some work calls and worked on things, and he shushed me. I got shushed. And I'm thinking to myself, you cannot expect silence in an airport. Give me a break. Like, I had my headset on, so he couldn't even hear the other side of the conversation, and I didn't think I was that loud. In fact, I thought I was very mindful that there was a guy with an eye mask on. But if you have an eye mask, you likely have earphone, or earplugs. So anyways, I wasn't very happy about being shushed in the airport. If you want to sleep, you might want to find a hotel,
No doubt.
or do not expect silence. Anyways, that was my pit. Peaks. Well, I had a fantastic time in Victoria with my colleagues. I prayed and manifested the feeling I get from this job. When I was looking for a job, I wanted a 4-day work week. I wanted to feel kindness in my workplace. I wanted to have a really healthy work-life balance, and I truly feel like I've hit the jackpot with my colleagues. Like, I adore them all. Like, they're just such lovely people. They're hardworking and really interesting life stories, how they've all landed working in my branch, and they're just exciting to be around. So I am beyond grateful that I got to spend a few days with them and just get to know them a bit better, because we have a whole bunch of newbies in our division, but we have a new group in our branch. So that was really nice to spend some face-to-face time with them. So yeah, that was my week. I ate decently in Victoria. Went out to trivia with my boss one night. It was awesome. Actually, here's a peek. My coworkers, we were talking that I haven't drank beer for 4 months, or I haven't drank for 4 months, alcohol. And I really miss good craft beer, like really, really miss it. And they're like, oh, well, you need to try out these like 3 different places in Victoria and go see what they have. And so they sent me the list, and one of them is called the Garden Market. Oh my God, it is like a cook dream come true. It's like, it feels like it's an old house, but they have all these like nooks and crannies, and each of the little areas has like a theme of food in it.
That's
I was in my
cool.
heaven. It was amazing. And their non-alcoholic selection was the best I have ever seen.
Okay, question.
Hey, question. Yep.
Is it like food to take out, like to buy or to eat in?
No, it's like a grocery store, like a high-end
Okay.
grocery store. But
Okay.
like, it's not it's not set up like a grocery store, other than that
Right.
they have like things with lights. But it's like you walk, it's like a little bit of a maze. You get kind of like, through all these nooks and crannies in it, and it's just amazing. But yeah,
That's
they had a floor to ceiling, so like 12 feet tall and 8 feet wide of non-alcoholic beer in this one area. And then they had this room
wow.
that had like mirrored walls that was all like, it was a wine cellar, and it was all this non-alcoholic wine in there. And then from that room there was stairs down to, like, I don't know if you'd call it a basement, but you go down there, there's a giant grand piano down there, and more walls of the same beer, so they must have a really popular, and more wine, like, so it was like they're overstocked, and it was
Wow.
full of it all. It was incredible, and I could have spent a lot of money in that place. Thankfully, I only had a suitcase to bring home.
That's very interesting to know. Like that's a good information for our listeners. If anybody's out that way and curious about that kind of stuff, that's a good.
They had everything. Like, there's the pasta section with the great pasta sauces. Then there's the whole room of chocolate, plus a display with,
A whole room of chocolate? You never told me this.
yeah, it was displayed so beautifully. Like, it was like this round table in the middle of it, and then it like had large bowls or something that was just like in a pyramid shape of chocolates. It was amazing.
Wow.
And, they had olive oil, and my love for olive oils. And it was that, can you tell that might have been my like off work peak? Oh my God, it was so amazing.
I get you. I'm feeling what you're feeling by telling me the story, telling us the story. I can feel that that was a very good moment for you. It's
Ye
actually, I'm like, ooh, I think I need to go there.
Yeah. Oh, it was exceptional. And they recently opened up a downtown location in the Old Bay, apparently. So for people who are down in the harbor area of Victoria, they don't have to travel as far. I walked there. It was about a 45-minute walk that got me my kilometers in for the day.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And I was in an area I haven't explored that was a little bit more residential, but just across the harbor. So that was really cool. So yeah, so that was Victoria. Plans. Well, it dumped snow in Invermere while I was away. 25 centimeters, 30 centimeters.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest snow dump days that we have had since we've moved here in one day. Like, it was a lot of snow.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I'm planning to ski all weekend at some point. So yes, this morning I got about 8 runs in, and that was awesome. I plan to go skiing and soaking, and tomorrow with Laura again. The other plans for the weekend is I got to edit this podcast, which is going to be a very quick turnaround to get it out in 2 days. Yikes. But we
Yeah.
will do it. We will do it because we adore you all that are listening to us. And I'm going to go volunteer at the thrift store on Monday. So that is what is happening for this week.
So my pits, as you guys could probably tell in my voice, I got sick when I got back. So that's pretty much my only pit. And it's like no surprise that I actually got sick because, well, this is what the world did to me. I'm on a plane for 15 hours. So I did that to myself. But while I'm flying home, I get my cycle and then I'm on the plane with all these people. So it's like I've got jet lag, I got my period, and I got a head cold that's like raging. So that's my only pit, but that's okay.
The combo.
It's a combo. And I mean, you know, you couldn't have a perfect 2 weeks and end it like so smoothly. There's just a little bit of the world that's got to be like, and by the way, this is what you get for enjoying yourself for 2 weeks straight. But that's all good. I've been resting a lot and just drinking tea and trying to be well. So my peaks, obviously, you guys, I just got back from Thailand. There's not much I can say more than that was just unreal. But I was really excited to see my cat Tex. I missed him so much. It's crazy. And he was stressed. Like his fur was all weird and he was looking like he had dry skin because he was all flaky, but now his fur is all back to normal and he's not flaky. So yeah, he didn't love that.
Aw.
And honestly, I was happy to come home. As I've said to all my clients, like as much as I like going away, I have a really great life here. So I was very happy to come home as well. And okay, there's another peak. I got monetized on my Blooms and Brushstrokes YouTube channel.
Yes! Whoop, whoop,
So
woo! This is great news.
Yeah, I don't really know how that all works yet. I have to figure out how to like add my tax information onto there yet, but I did hit the milestone where I am able to be monetized, which we'll see how that
Heck
goes.
yeah.
And then I have another funny peak. When you guys know my car always has issues with it. My car's gas cap or gas door has been open for like 3 years because it broke in the cold weather and it was going to be $500 to fix it. And I was like, screw that. I'm not spending $500 on that because every time I take my car in, it's already like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 to fix whatever else is going on. The gas door was not a big problem to me. However, I was taking my car into Anderson Auto to get a few other things done, and they gave me a quote on what it would cost to get the gas door done as well. All in all, it was going to be a very good price. So I'm like, okay, fix it all. I have had clients, people, everyone telling me about my gas cap for 3 years that it's like, I need to get this done because I can't possibly handle one more person telling me my freaking gas door is broken. Like, I can't even handle it. So I get it fixed while I'm away. I pick my car up. I go back to work Wednesday. My very first clients of the day commented on the fact that my gas door was fixed. How funny is that shit, buddy? But then I post a story about it, and Shelby, who we've mentioned in our podcast before, Shelby sends me a private message and is like, oh my gosh, when I drove by the salon this morning, I thought, oh, good for her. She got her gas closed. That is how much people pay attention to my little car out there.
Oh, Shelby.
Amazing. I just love that shit. Anyways, that's a super peak for me as well. Anyhow, plans. There's not a lot of plans. I'm just going to try to get rid of this head cold as best as I can. I'm only off tomorrow and I'm back to work Monday because I've really socked myself in to get caught back up. So that'll be crazy. I have a doctor's appointment on work, before work on Monday, and otherwise that's it. I'm just working, like getting caught up. So it's just going to be that and life and just chilling out. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Sisters Social Call, you guys. If you want to find Stacy on social media, you can find her on LinkedIn or Facebook. You can find Sisters Social Call on Instagram. You can find myself, Krista, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And I think that's going to wrap it up for us, sissy.
Awesome. Love you so much, sis. Happy to see you home.
Love you too, sis. I missed you lots.